Alright. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to our Final Fantasy 15 Chapter 4 stream. I got a little bit of a new setup tonight. Not totally sure how it's all going to work, but we're going to make the best of it.
I can't decide what I want to eat.
People in the game are talking to me. Awesome. So tonight, like I said, we're going to do Chapter 4. My bad, I think I said Chapter 5. Let me get away from these people. They are being loud. Let's just turn them down just a little bit, actually. Yeah, that'd be great. Give me just 1 second here. So tonight we are going to do a quick overview of Chapter 4 of this game. We're going to be fighting our first major boss in this game. And we're going to be looking at what that kind of means for our story. Now, just as a reminder, in this game we are talking about the story of gods and kings. And as you can see in the quest title here, this is the quest called The Way of Gods and Kings. So tonight as we play through this, we are going to a place called the Disc of Kothis. And there we are going to meet one of the 6 primary gods of this universe. And we're going to dive into that. So without further ado, I'm going to start making my way over to that area. Just a couple of things to keep in mind as we play through this. We are following Noctis, and Noctis is the Prince of Lucis, but we're looking at him as kind of a parallel to some biblical figures. Number one, excuse me. Number one, we're looking at him as kind of the parallel for King David. We've been talking about the trials of a king.
When the ground shakes, your brain aches. Yeah, sort of.
The trials of a king, meaning the things, the tests that include kind of revealing a person's heart, their character, and their strength. And then also, what are the tests and the trials that cause a king's reputation and influence to increase? Those are the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight, Noctis is going to face his greatest trial yet. So let's head on to the outlook here.
What a coincidence.
I'm not so sure it is.
Aren't nursery rhymes curious things? Like this one. From the deep, the Archean calls. Yet on deaf ears, the god's tongue falls. The king made to kneel in pain, he crawls.
So, how do we keep him on his feet?
You need only heed the call. Visit the Archean and hear his plea. I can take you.
We in?
I don't know. We take a ride?
But watch our backs.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
All right, let's stop there for just a second. So, Arden, who we know, if we've seen Kingsglaive, and if you're a member of my class, then you have. Arden Izunia is the Chancellor of Niflheim, and for whatever reason, our guys here do not recognize him. But he is going to allow our guys to go through the blockade that is blocking the way to the Disc of Kothis. So that really kind of a handy guy. So we have to follow him along.
I'm not one to stand on ceremony, but such an occasion calls for an introduction. Please call me Arden. Come with me to the car park.
Stand
That's
in his
where
way.
I left my automobile. She's a dear old thing. Pales next to your regalia, but she's never let me down. So, we take 2 vehicles, a convoy of sorts, shall we?
Getting hungry. Want to grab a bite on the street? I don't know.
These are talkative citizens, aren't they? Everybody's talking so loudly.
Another score.
Oops.
Want to pack our bags?
This is a big story moment, so I'm going to get in our like canon costumes or uniforms. There we go. Our edgelord uniforms, I guess. The MK Mobile, no, but Arden's got a pretty sweet ride too. What's up, Senorita? Good to see you.
All set?
Yes, let's drive with Arden to the disc.
Allow me to do the honor of assigning your driver. I choose you.
All right, we're going to take the wheel. Let's do this.
Fine by me.
500 experience
You
points.
drive your car and I drive mine. With that decided, let us be off.
Indeed. All right, here's all of our fun photos. Nice picture of Arden. No time for photos. Let's go. As we begin this chapter, just a few reminders regarding the story of David, because this chapter really does focus on David. David had early trials similar to Noctis. Those trials were that he was a shepherd. He would take care of sheep and fight off lions and wolves, tigers, the like, to protect the sheep from them. In the same way, Noctis has been fending off behemoths and other things from chocobos, and he's also been learning the ropes of what it's like to live outside the city. In this chapter, we are going to see Noctis's greatest trial yet, and it will test his strength as well as
this isn't a race,
increase
it is
his
a chase.
influence.
You're not to pass me. Lose sight of me, and you'll lose your way. And
We
no
don't want that.
tailgating. An accident would spoil the trip.
All right, all right. Let's hit the road already.
As you wish. Drive safely now.
I always do, except when Ignis is driving.
First Galden and then Lestalem. What a coincidence, huh?
Way too convenient to be a coincidence. I reckon he's
What a
following us
coincidence.
around.
But to what end? That question bothers me deeply, as does his origin.
It's hard for me to picture that guy in the Empire.
Got to
But
turn.
it's even harder to imagine him as a Lucian.
Oh, he's leaving me. Speed up,
I'd
Noctis.
sooner not rely on him.
But he may be our only way in to the Disc of Kothis.
What's His Highness's opinion of this Arden?
Don't really have one. He's nothing more than a creepy old dude to me.
Creepy old
You hit
dude.
the nail on the head right there.
Well,
yeah.
that's why we came up with a plan.
Gotta watch our backs the whole way.
Ah, so pretty, isn't it? Nice scenic ride.
Knocked. How are the headaches?
Fine for now, but they come without warning.
Wouldn't want to have one behind the wheel.
Stop if you need to, all right?
Okay. Big turn.
So, any havens along the way?
Oh, somebody wants to camp. Somebody else wants a proper bed.
Nice firm ground's much better for your back.
Can't we at least make it a caravan? I don't get why you like camping so much.
Under the stars, at one with nature. What's not to like? Now in the
Parking here.
wild, there are no rules to follow. No checkout time.
I dare say you had knocked with no checkout time.
I'm off.
What say we call it a day here?
What say we continue on to Kothis?
The Archean's not going anywhere?
Neither are we under your stewardship.
So we make camp with Arden.
Hell no.
Might as well get the tent up.
Oh, I'm afraid I've never really been one for the outdoors. I shall foot the bill, so let us stay at the caravan over yonder.
Nice guy.
Now this feels like a road trip.
Yeah, go figure.
Nice of him.
Well, well, if it isn't yours truly.
Okay, got a beast whistle. All right, so on this particular day, Arden is going to take us to the
Though
Disc of
I'm still young,
Kothis.
my blood is true. As my mother before me, I'll work to bring peace to one and all. That marked the
ascension of the youngest oracle in history. Is it hard giving blessings?
It would be selfish of me to complain of my burden when so many suffer and wait. I hope they trust I will not rest until they all know solace.
The world watched on with worry and wonder as the young girl grew. I understand you have a message for us?
If you know of any who are bedridden or unable to come to me, pray, send word, and I shall go to them.
I follow my calling. I will not halt my steps for anything else. In time, her strength would become an inspiration to all.
What is your opinion of the treaty?
When war has ended, so too will suffering subside. The treaty is a momentous step towards a brighter future. Let there be no doubt. We walk the path of true peace.
Okay, that was a lot right there in the middle of a radio broadcast. Luna's being interviewed here, and it's showing it's replaying some old tapes of when Luna was first kind of anointed as an oracle. She was the youngest oracle in history to kind of ascend to the position, presumably because of her mother's death. And you can remember when her kingdom was taken over 12 years prior to the events in this game. She was probably about 12 years old herself. So they're listening to these broadcasts, and they're kind of hyping the wedding between her and Noctis, which is still kind of in question about the treaty since Insomnia was destroyed by Niflheim. Here's what I want you to note. She said specifically that her calling as Oracle was to be there and to bring healing and help, assistance to those who are wounded, to those who are hurting, who are unable to walk, all that kind of stuff. And in this next scene, we're going to see exactly what that looks like. So some of you have been asking, hey, Michael, how you doing? Doing great. Some of you have been asking, what does an oracle do? Well, we're going to get to see a pretty close-up version of this. So here we go.
I hope she's okay, wherever she's headed.
Please, set your heart at rest.
What's up, Daisy?
I shall do what I can to ease your suffering.
Lady
Blessed stars of life and light, deliver us from darkness blight.
Now watch what she's doing here. This is really, really important. This is key about Luna's powers.
That is all I can do for now, but trust that relief will come in a matter of days.
It's a miracle. Thank you, Lady Lunafreya.
Oh, Lady Lunafreya. I left at dawn to come see you.
You must be exhausted.
A fair bit, but more grateful than anything.
Let us begin at once.
So if you remember in the earlier broadcast, it said that Luna would continue to see the people in their cities.
like taking her in.
Damn right. She could have bunked at my place.
Or mine. I'm sure the missus would understand.
So what Luna
Don't think
is
being
doing,
married-
what Luna does in those places is she goes and she heals the people. I think this is a really interesting piece. If you noticed the man on the screen, he had some kind of splotches, some dark splotches all over him. And Luna brings him in close, and there's like a golden aura, a yellow aura that follows her hands and her head. And by the time she's done what seems to be some kind of praying, that darkness subsides. Now, here's what's interesting. Part of her work is to absorb that, what we're eventually going to call scourge, from those people into herself. This is a really interesting way of healing where she absorbs that. And as the oracle, she is of the bloodline of the oracles, that it does not affect her the same way. It affects her, but it does not cause such debilitating effects as it does. Many of the people suffer from various ailments known as Star Scourge. We'll learn a little bit more about Star Scourge in later chapters, but it's essentially a plague that goes around the world based on things that happened aeons and centuries prior. Luna is doing her part to make sure that the Star Scourge doesn't have the last word. And so this is part of her calling as Oracle. And that is why everyone is afraid that when she marries Noctis, good-for-nothing prince behind the walls, that she is going to stop being in their villages and stuff. So with that, what's funny is that cutscene is missable. You can totally miss that if you don't listen to that radio broadcast. And I'm like, that's such a killer moment. Like that is such a good moment. Can't believe that they made it optional.
Give you an excuse not to work out.
So let's go see Arden.
You can't just let yourself go with the eyes of the world on you.
I don't know about that.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Arden.
I should warn you, we're about to pass the point of no return. I trust you're not having any second thoughts.
Not even a little. Not even a little. All right, at this point, before we say yes to this, here's one of the things I want to remind you of. This is part of the story where it really begins to align a little bit with the biblical narrative. So we have already discussed David's pre-trials, right? Being a shepherd, being a musician, some of the menial sub-quests, side quests that Noctis has done up to this point align with that. This next one is similar to perhaps the greatest trial that David faced. And the thing that caused people to say of King David about his reputation, that Saul had killed his thousands, but David has killed his tens of thousands. He's a mighty warrior. So with that, we continue to the Disc of Kothos. Let's go, boys.
Whoever thought of tapping into the meteor's power was a genius.
Can you even go near that thing?
They harvest fragments found nearby, pieces that broke off when the meteor fell. Almost fell, I should say, for the Archean caught it.
Ooh, big
and
turn.
He's still there, holding the thing up.
Guess he never misses leg day.
Or any day, for that matter.
His unceasing toil and the meteor's might form the tenets of worship for the locals of Disguise.
Makes you wonder what it's like down there at his feet.
All right, let's just keep going. That's a huge moment that we just talked about. They're talking about the legends and the myths regarding Titan.
It's hot.
Titan is also called the Archean. He is a huge god that when a giant meteor hurtled towards Earth, Titan caught it. Titan caught the meteor and protected, shielded Earth from it. And so they're thinking that Titan is the source of the earthquakes and the tremors that we're seeing, that Noctis is feeling. So,
Going. Well, the camera fell.
we are heading
As long as
into
I
that.
avoid open flames, it should be okay.
You can imagine
We
why
don't have a
people
spare
worship
if it
Titan
breaks.
because of the
Leave it in the car?
protection that Titan
Oh
gives
no,
them.
I'm taking it. Not every day you get up close and personal with the Archean. I'd kick myself if I missed the photo op.
Spoken like a true photographer.
As they say, better to try and fail than never to try at all.
Look at you.
Look at
Well,
you.
they say that. Not me.
They.
Well, you just do what you gotta.
Hey, Iggy, can your glasses take the heat?
Well, I don't see why they shouldn't.
Even if they couldn't, he'd still be alright.
Yeah, Iggy's eyes ain't that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my vision is passable without corrective lenses.
Then why not take them off sometimes?
Well,
You don't get it, huh?
Ignis likes his world to be crystal clear.
I love that.
indeed. I've never been one for ambiguity.
Doesn't really need the glasses, but
I think I'm getting the picture now. Hey, Ignis. How's it feel being away from the wheel?
Positively frightening.
What are you saying?
That I'm no stranger to His Highness's driving habits.
Appreciate the confidence.
Read a book. It'll take your mind off it.
I'd rather keep my eyes on the road for now, thank you.
I guess nothing can take your mind off Nox driving.
I'm not that bad.
Not be a setup.
Have I given you reason to doubt me?
You don't really inspire confidence.
Yeah, not very straightforward.
Hello, it's me. Be so kind as to open up.
Wow, that worked?
I may not look like much, but I do have some influence. Aren't you glad we came together?
So glad.
Your audience with divinity lies ahead.
You're leaving?
I drop you at the Archean's open door, and with that, bid you farewell.
Bye, friend. Okay, here we go. Into enemy territory.
Weirdos.
I hope we never meet that one again.
Whoa, a little harsh there, don't you think?
They're so mean. Arden's done nothing but give them ways in and
Guy really knew his
coins.
stuff about nursery rhymes.
Yeah, nothing creepy about that.
Wow, not. We are speeding down this canyon.
So we
Almost
keep
there.
going
There
this
we go.
way.
Then we'll find out what the Empire's up to.
On foot.
These ruins.
Is that what I think it is?
Didn't expect to find a royal tomb here.
Would be a shame not to grab that power. Hey, Highness.
Let's grab it and go.
Grab it and go. We talked in my class today about going to tombs to receive knowledge and lessons of kings past. And then I assigned their midterm project, so which is to do just that with all the kings. All right, here we go, folks.
Here we go again!
This one's huge.
Get away! Quickly!
Ooh.
Knocked! I gotcha!
Come on.
Come on,
Ooh.
pull yourself up.
There's Titan, the Archean. All right, did you hear what he said?
God damn. This is the Archean?
Seems we woke the big guy up.
He's trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
But what?
Knocked! You okay?
Well, thank heavens you're safe. Is there a way back up?
No, but there's a path. Gonna see where it leads.
You two try to get down.
Very well. We'll look for a way. Be careful now.
You too.
What? We're going where?
Really interesting word that Titan used to describe Noctis. He said, son of man. Son of man. That is what he called Noctis there.
Don't rush off on your own, huh?
Don't get left behind.
Son of man, and
Wise guy.
a biblical, an ancient Near Eastern phrase referring to kings, and particularly important kings.
They're on edge. Let's not ruffle their feathers anymore.
Try shutting your beak.
Just offering sound advice.
Yeah, like a parrot in my ear.
Flames spurting forth cause characters to overheat, so we won't do that. You can see Gladio and Noct are both kind of on edge at this point. Making our way through the meteor.
Damn. Hey, over here. No room for error here.
No time to chill either. Make it quick. Just want this to be over.
Tremors! Hang on.
My head.
Again. Of all the times. Let's hurry the hell across. Knocked. You doing all right?
Doing great.
What now?
Ooh.
Hey! Titan! What's the big idea?
Save it. Get to solid ground first.
Faster!
Calm down. I'm going as fast as I can.
Oh. So now he's grasping out at Noct.
Almost there.
Hurry!
Mm. There it is.
That's his welcome. Hate to see how he treats intruders.
You want to talk? So do I.
Glad the feeling's mutual. Let's move.
Let's go around the flames. There we go.
Sick of this endless walking.
And I'm sick of your endless whining. Calm the hell down.
Get off my back.
Are you a man of royal blood, or aren't you?
I mean, I guess. Why don't Noctis is in a bad mood, so let's say sort of.
Above all else, I'm just a man.
Just a man? The kingdom's fate is in your hands. Your life ain't yours alone. You have to live for others, not only yourself. We Amicitia are the king's sworn shields. Guard the king with our lives. That's the way it's always been. I've embraced my duty, and I take pride in it. When you can't focus, I focus for you. It's my job, so let me do it, all right?
All right.
That's a really big moment. So we talk about relationships. If trials are the first thing that a king has to overcome in order to ascend a throne, a king also has to have proper relationships. If you're in my class or if you were in the first stream, you probably heard me talk a little bit about this. There are 3 primary relationships the king has to have and 1 absolute necessity. The 3 are a protector, an advisor, and a friend. A protector is the person that's going to grab the king and essentially be the shield, the protector for the king or the king to be when the king cannot. So a good warrior. So David had multiple warriors. One was named Uriah, and then there were a handful of others. The Bible also talks about King David having 3 mighty men or 3 mighty warriors who would protect him. And there's a great scene in the book of Chronicles where David is thirsting in the midst of a battle, and these 3 warriors go off and get water for him. So really interesting protectors. Then you have an advisor. Every king needs a good strategist. You see this in everything from Game of Thrones to even again King David. An advisor is one that is going to give the king some counsel, some war advice, some domestic policy advice and foreign policy advice. King is as good as his advisors many times. And then finally, with King David, I would say that one of his advisors could be Michal, his wife. Michal at times was a protector for David, at times would offer David some insight. Sometimes, even later on, David would hear insight from various other people, advisors and the like. You would also get this from Samuel, who was his prophet, as well as Nathan. We'll get to that in just a second. The third key relationship that every king has is a friend. Every king has got to have someone that keeps him or her, in case of general royalty, grounded. Somebody that's going to be their peer, their best friend, somebody that they can be close with. King David, again, had Jonathan. Jonathan says that he loved him as his own flesh, the love of women did not compare to the love that David had for Jonathan, and vice versa. So this is a very close relationship that these two had. You see these three relationships with Noctis and his three friends here. Gladio, the protector, the one that when you can't focus, I'm going to focus for you, even to the point of being aggressive in his concern and protection of Noct. Then you've got Ignis, the strategist, the advisor, and you have Prompto, that friend. There's one other key relationship that every king has to have, and it's the relationship to the prophet. So David had Samuel, and every king who succeeded had a good relationship with their prophet. So we'll continue to talk about that in the following chapters. But for now, we remember this is also a chapter about relationships as much as it is trials. Let's continue.
Sorry, but I had to get it out. Come on. And remember, don't rush ahead on your own.
Hey, Gladio. Your dad, I'm grateful to him.
Just doing his job. Isn't that your
That's
phone?
the first time Noctis has mentioned that Gladio's dad also died alongside Regis.
Ignis.
You're safe. Good. Listen, Imperial troops are...
Got cut off. But it sounds like we're about to have Imperial company.
It's about to get even hotter in here.
Yeah, Michael, I absolutely love this game for these reasons. And if that blows your mind, then you ain't seen nothing yet. We've got many chapters to go, and the similarities only become more important. All right.
We finally
like our boy Titan up here.
I know.
As we are about to face Titan, let me ask you this. What is the trial that David is known for? You know this. If you know even a little bit of knowledge about the Old Testament or the Bible, David fights one being, one battle. And what is that fight? It's David versus... You know it. Type it in. David and Goliath. It is David and Goliath. And so here we have Noctis going up against Titan, which the Bible says that Goliath is 9 feet tall. Well, they took that and ran with it. Now, if you remember correctly, David felled Goliath after Goliath and the army of Israel had been fighting for quite some time. So basically, the Philistine army had come out, and to spare all of the death that would typically happen on a battlefield, the Philistines came out with a common sort of thing: our champion versus yours. And they come out with this 9-foot tall warrior named Goliath. It says, if you bring out somebody that can beat Goliath, you've beaten us for the day, and we don't have to spare all of our men, and you don't have to spare yours. You will become our slaves, essentially. And so the Israelites are like, oh gosh, well, that is the better option, but gosh, I mean, look at him, Goliath, 9 feet tall over here. And so they cower in fear. Every morning, Goliath would come out to the battlefield, and he would yell out at the Israelites, and he would say things like, where is your champion? Where is your God? And he would basically mock them, okay? And so David, the youngest of all the brothers, is not on the battlefield. He's got like several brothers that are older than him. And his father one day says, David, I want you to go to the front lines, and I want you to see how your brothers are. And he gave them a bunch of cheese, and he gave them a bunch of bread, or as I like to say, he gave them pizzas. And he delivers the cheese and the bread to the battlefields, the front lines. And here's what he realizes. He realizes that everyone is hiding in fear. And he says to his brothers and everyone else, he's like, why is everyone hiding? And who is this guy out there? And they say, well, it's Goliath, and he is threatening us, challenging for a champion. And David says, and nobody's standing up? And they're like, his older brothers are saying, who do you think you are? You're some like kid or whatever. You're just trying to get fame and fortune out of this. And David says, well, what happens if somebody were to beat Goliath? And everybody is like, well, he would have unceasing wealth, and he would marry one of the king Saul's daughters. And so at this point, David says, well, I need to see Saul. Now, he's already got a relationship with Saul. He is one of Saul's musicians. And so he goes and plays. So he goes into Saul's tent, and he says, King Saul, I hear you've got this giant problem over here. And Saul is like, yeah, he is really just destroying us, terrifying us. Nobody can stand up against him. And David says, I'll fight him. He says, who is this, and these are words that mean something to them, not to us. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he may defile the armies of the living God? And Saul is like, well, those are mighty words, David. And David's like, I'll take him on. And so David says, let me at him. And Saul says, well, we don't have any other options. Who are you that you could do this, though? And he says, King Saul, I know that you know me as a musician, but I'm a shepherd. Whenever my sheep are in dangers, I save them from the jaws of the lion and of the wolf and of the bears. I am the one that does this. And I fight them, and I am a warrior, just not on the battlefield like you know. And so Saul says, okay, well, if you're going to go, put on my armor. And so David puts on his armor, and it's too big for him. It just doesn't fit, too heavy. And David's like, I can't even move around like this. And at that point, David says, no, here's what I'll do. I'll use the tools that I know as a shepherd. And so he has a sling, and he has a pocket full of rocks. This seems like a silly sort of thing, like a slingshot. It's not exactly like that. Instead, it's a sling that you place a rock in and you spin really fast and then you let fly, okay? And the rock goes hurtling. It's almost like archery, like a hand catapult sort of thing. And so he goes out with this simple sling and just like 5 stones or so. And he goes face to face with Goliath. And Goliath is like, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And David says, well, no, I come against you in the name of the living God whom you have defiled. And not only that, David is a little cocky, a little arrogant. And he says, you have defiled us long enough, but this very day he will hand you over to me. And I will come over there and I will cut off your head with your own sword. Kind of a bold sort of thing. What I love about this story is that the people of Israel, the army, has been running away from Goliath for all this time until one moment when David looks at Goliath and says, enough is enough. This ends today. Now, I share all of that with you before we go into this fight. Let's watch together. All right, come on, guys. The trial of Titan, remember, tests the strength and it tests the, and it's going to reveal
I'm here.
A king's influence.
What the hell is it you want? Quit screwing with my head! You gotta be kidding me.
Fend for your life.
You serious? So you got no choice. Oh, man.
Nah.
Ooh, Gladio.
Are you alright?
I owe you one.
This ain't gonna work. We gotta run.
Best advice you've given all day.
Well, I can't have you dying here. Come on.
Ooh. Ugh.
We're sitting ducks here. Hurry!
Yeah, don't need to tell me.
Come on, Gladio. We gotta go.
Over here. Go, go.
Ah, damn it.
Don't stop. Run.
He just won't quit.
Gotta go, gotta go.
Gladio, hurry! I can't keep this up.
Not gonna take any more of this crap.
It's almost like an aerial battle at this point. Whew. My boys, we back. Where's Gladio? The Empire's here. So they're fighting both Titan and us at this point. Just madness. Woo! This is a mad fight. All right. Oop. Does that prompt a shoot? Whew. It's getting crazy. Ah, here's our moment.
We're all here. Let's do it.
Ooh, now the Empire too. I will. Okay, here we go.
Game's up. Yeah! You're out.
A little bit different, but notice that they throw these kind of magic stones at Goliath, and then Noctis takes the sword, and he's able to strike down his
If a little
Titan.
Does this mean it's over? What? What is it now?
What is he doing?
He's winding up!
For the big one!
All right, this is a key moment. Luna here.
Luna. You spoke with her?
Luna here goes to the gods, like Titan, to speak on Nox's behalf. That's what that scene showed. Mm.
Doesn't get much worse than this.
The Empire. Now?
Yeah.
Fancy meeting you here. It occurs to me I never formally introduced myself. Izunia! Arden Izunia.
Imperial Chancellor Izunia.
At your service.
About time, Ignis.
To your aid. I guarantee your safe passage. Though you're always welcome to take your chances down there. Buried among the rubble, is it?
Dying here is not an option. We have no choice, Noct.
I know.
All right, everybody. So he receives the mark of the Archean as a result of this. So that's the end of chapter 4. I want to share just a couple of wrap-up thoughts as we end this this time together. Mainly, we see the fight with Titan, and that's a great question, Senorita. You know, why in the world is Titan attacking Noctis? And I think that it's found in this. It's called the trial of Titan, and a trial does two things, right? The first thing that it does is it tests what is in this king, what's the heart and what's the strength of this king. It does another thing. It increases and elevates the influence and the fame of that king. So kind of builds the renown. When you think of a trial, I don't want you to think of a fight necessarily. This is a test. And so when we think about a Titan or a god trying or testing, remember I mentioned this about Deuteronomy chapter 8. God says to Moses and to all of Israel, says, I want you to know that it was I and I alone that brought you into this desert to test you, to see what was truly in your heart, so that you would be humbled, and you would know that man doesn't live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. So there's a difference between a trial and like temptation. And so a trial tests your worth. It's like when you go to the gym and you work out, you are testing and pushing your strength so that you might be proven stronger, or you might get stronger. In the same way, this is what Titan is doing. And we are going to see in the course of this game multiple trials that Noctis has to undergo, each one related to the gods that he encounters, beginning with Titan. We're also going to talk about each one of these gods individually, and that's probably a conversation for another time. The final thing that I want to leave us with is Luna. Luna having this scene where she goes to Titan. Now, if you remember right, Luna is supposed to be giving the ring to Noctis, and yet she's making her own side journeys. She's going to see Titan before Noctis goes to Titan. In fact, Luna goes to see Titan, and shortly thereafter, there begins to be these earthquakes caused by Titan. And so what is Titan doing? Well, he's calling out to Noctis, wooing him, drawing him in so that he might test him. And Luna has a part of that. So next time in Chapter 5 on Thursday night, we are going to look a little bit closer at Luna's role and her calling. She mentions it a couple of times. We know that she's a healer of sorts, but beyond that, there's bigger things for her to do. All right, everybody, that's enough for tonight. So if there are any takeaways from tonight, it's about the trials of the king and the relationships of the king, and ultimately this parallel with Goliath. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to dive in a little bit more. And Senorita, we are going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about Luna. Luna's all about, that's kind of the focus of Chapter 5, where we will dive in next time. Everybody, just a quick kind of housekeeping sort of thing. I have acquired a way of playing Final Fantasy 15 on PC instead of PlayStation 5. And so I am going to be doing another playthrough of chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 later on this week. So stay tuned for that, especially if you've missed any of the prior things. I'm going to be doing one big gigantic playthrough, speeding through the first 4 chapters, and then we're going to kind of synchronize it all. So stay tuned for that. As for now, though, thank you so much for being here tonight. I know this was a shorter stream, but I'm trying to do chapter by chapter for my class. So whatever you're doing on this Tuesday night, I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you on Thursday, if not sooner. Y'all, take it easy. Have a great evening. Bye.
Oh, thank the
Thank you.